Here's the ingredients for today's video. What do you think we're making? We'll be right back with the answer. Hello everyone, this is Chef Rice again. I'm back here in my home kitchen. Today we're going to be making, you guessed it, pulled pork sandwiches with coleslaw. I'm going to do a slight variation on a couple of different things, but this is directly from your American Regional Cuisines class when we study the South. Today's variation, I'm going to add a little bit of pineapple to my coleslaw. And being from Texas, I'm not a big fan of the vinegar-based barbecue sauces that you get on the East Coast. So instead of the Carolina barbecue sauce, I'm going to use more of a ketchup-based barbecue sauce like we would see in the Midwest or in Texas. So let's get started. Today we need to start off by making a dry rub. We're going to rub down the pork butt with it and then let it sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, while we're doing the pork butt, we're going to go ahead and make a mop. And the mop is going to help us keep the meat moist while it's in our oven. So we're going to make the mop, and about every 30 minutes, every 45 minutes in the oven, we're going to pull it out, and we're just going to mop it all over the top of it. And we're going to let it go. Now this product is really good if you have a smoker. I don't typically have a smoker here at the house. So what I'm going to do is do it here in my oven. I'm going to just roast it about 3/4 of the way, and then I'm going to put some foil over the top of the pan and then kind of let it steam and get that last little bit done. So let's get started. First thing we got to make is the dry rub. So for this dry rub, what you're going to need is 6 tablespoons of black pepper, 6 tablespoons of dark brown sugar, 6 tablespoons of paprika, and I'm going to split it between Hungarian style sweet and a little bit of hot paprika, so I'm going to do 3 and 3. We need 8 tablespoons of coarse salt, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. We're going to put that on top of our pork butt that we have. And then we're going to let that sit for 30 minutes. So now we're going to make the mop for our pulled pork that's already in the oven. First thing that we need is 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. I already have it measured out here, 2 cups. We're going to go with about 3/4 of a cup of water. Now this recipe is in your book. I have done some changes to it just because I have a little bit more pork than what they called for in there. But we're fairly close. We need 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Then again, coarse salt, 2 tablespoons. Four tablespoons of vegetable oil. Sorry, I read my own recipe wrong. That is 4 teaspoons, which is a tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. But I'm going to go ahead and do it all in teas. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I need requests the Carolina barbecue sauce, but again, I told you that I'm from Texas. I like a ketchup-y, more tomato-based sauce. So I'm using one that I bought at my local grocery store. This is from H-E-B. They have many different kinds. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself a couple of cups of the barbecue sauce. And just so that I make sure I get everything out of my bottle, I'm going to put a little bit of water, shake up my bottle really well. Get all that extra flavor that was hidden in there. Go ahead and put that in here. It's not going to hurt anything. This is just to keep the moisture in. And then again, my barbecue sauce. 2 cups in there. And then just whisk it and bring it all together. This is still going to have a little bit of that vinegary taste to it, like the people in the South like to have over there in the Carolinas and in Georgia. They like the vinegary taste. But by adding a little bit of the tomato, it's going to give me a little bit more of that Texas feel to it. So the mop is now ready. When it's time, we'll just get a brush and we will brush it right on top of the pork. Okay, so now we're going to make the topping for our pulled pork slider, and it's coleslaw. Today what we're going to do is we're going to make a basic coleslaw dressing. Typically you would use apple cider vinegar and mayonnaise as your bases, and then add in your seasonings as you would like. Today I'm going to alter that because I like pineapple flavored coleslaw. So I'm going to take pineapple juice in replacement of apple cider vinegar. We're going to make it the same way, but also we're going to add pineapples directly into our slaw. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll add the pineapples. I just diced them up pretty well. Then we're going to add in chopped onions. Get those mixed around with our... Okay. Pretty good there. Now let's make the topping. One of those pieces of pineapple escaped. There we go. So we're going to take our mayonnaise. We are going to add 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, and 3. We are going to add in the exact same amount of pineapple juice that we added in earlier of the mayonnaise. So again, 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. We have a little bit of minced garlic that we're going to add as well. That's 1 clove of minced garlic. And then salt and pepper to taste. So I'm not really going to add it just yet, but I'm going to have it here ready to go. Let's go ahead and mix it up a little bit. See how we're doing. The mayonnaise breaks down pretty quick with the apple cider vinegar. Sorry, in this case we're using pineapple juice. But either way it does the same concept. It breaks it down pretty good, makes it pretty thin. Okay. I actually think I need just a little bit more mayonnaise in there. I think it's a little bit too thin, so I'm going to add about another 1/2 of a tablespoon. Okay, and just mix it up pretty good in there. And then finally, we are going to add in a teaspoon of sugar. Mix it up really well. So right now we haven't added in salt and pepper yet, but that's why we want to taste it first and see. It's got a nice pineapple-y flavor, a little bit of a garlic hint, got a little bit of sugar on the backside. It only needs a touch of salt to offset that sugar. So maybe 1/4 teaspoon, and then about the same of pepper. And then let's mix that up really well. We'll get a clean fork and we'll taste everything. Really good. So now it's real simple. We're just going to take our pineapple, onions, cabbage, and carrot mixture that we have here, and we're going to add this right onto the top of it. And if it's not quite enough, the recipe's super simple, super easy to make. You can always just make a little bit more. Okay folks, so I'm going to quickly pull out the pork out of the oven. Take a look at it real quick. Oh, it's beautiful. It smells gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful pork cooking in there. I'm going to hit it real quick with the mop like we talked about from earlier. Sorry you can't see it, but I am getting a good mop on top of this pork. I'll show it to the camera one more time before I put it back in the oven. It's been cooking about 45 minutes now. We'll go another 45 and we'll mop it again. Next time we will flip it over. Show it to you one more time. Beautiful looking pork. Back into the oven it goes. We got about another hour and a half till it'll be done and we'll be eating pork sandwiches. Hey everybody, I'm about to pull the pork out of the oven. The timer is just about to go off, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off the oven, shut off the timer. At about 45 minutes in, we went ahead and we put the mop on it. Went through another 45 minutes. I flipped all of the pork over and put the mop on again. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, let it sit for a little bit. We want it to sit at about room temperature, about 30 minutes before we start to pull it. And I'm going to show you two different methods of pulling the pork. Okay, so I told you I was going to use two methods to pull pork. One, we're going to actually just use a couple of forks, and the other, we're going to use the mixer. But this pork is coming together pretty good. See how it's just pulling apart? Beautiful. So the other method that we're going to use is we're going to use the stand mixer, but we're going to use the dough hook on here. This really works well if you're using, you're doing very large parties, big, giant pork butts that are maybe 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and you don't want to sit there and shred by hand all day long. You can actually use this right here. So what I'm going to do is load up the bowl with this in there and go ahead and show you the mixing. Okay. So I put the biggest piece of pork in here with the dough hook. Again, I locked the mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on real slow and just let it start tearing through the pork. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and add other pieces in. Go ahead and open it up. Just like with everything else, push things down. Put the rest of the pork in there. Lock it again. And as you can see deep inside, it's starting to shred the pork for us. And this really does well for when you have very large parties, very large pieces of pork that you're dealing with. And we can pull it right straight out of there. Pull these pieces out, put them over here. Now what we can do is we can take this again and just make sure that it's shredded to our liking. And at this point you can do many different things. You can either add a little bit more of the mop that you made earlier on top. You can add more barbecue sauce, or you can add some of the juices directly from the pan where you had it cooking from a little bit earlier, which I'm going to go ahead and do that. Which are all beautiful here, and let's just go ahead and add that back into it. So then just get it all good and shredded up in there the way you like it. Some people like it really, really fine. Some people like it a little bit more coarse. Okay, so we're at the point right now where we're ready to make our sandwiches. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the buns and the coleslaw we made from earlier and put it all together. So we're gonna now assemble our pulled pork sandwich. We're just gonna get a little bit of our pork mixture, put it right here on the bun. We'll put a little bit of our pineapple coleslaw that we made earlier right on the top. We'll go ahead and close it up. All right, well, this is Chef Rice. I'm back here in the kitchen with the wonderful pulled pork sandwich that we just finished. I'm gonna take a big bite, let you all know how it is. Meanwhile, can't wait to see you guys back on campus. All right, so I just had a sample of the wonderful sandwich. It was really good. Look forward to seeing you back on campus real soon. Try this recipe at home if you get a chance. It's in your American Regional Cuisine book. Also, look forward to sometime over this weekend the banana pudding video that will be coming out to go along with this. For now, Chef Rice from my home.